Hey everybody, it's Double Deedle Design. My name is Scott. In today's video, I'm going to give you 9 ways you can implement accessibility guidelines and design standards from the Americans with Disabilities Act to improve the comfort and accessibility of your own home, even if you don't have anyone in your home with mobility issues or challenges. Following these design standards can add some surprising benefits and comfort to your home that you probably weren't thinking of during your initial design. If you're not familiar with the ADA, it's a federal civil rights law from 1990 that prevents discrimination for someone based on their disabilities or their mobility issues. It's a pretty huge law that we just can't cover in this video. There's a lot of aspects to it. But one key element is that it's access to public spaces. So what does that mean? Every single family home in North America pretty much is not considered a public space. So why would we apply public space laws to a private residence? The Americans with Disabilities Act, or the ADA, actually has design standards that most commercial architects follow when they design a public space. So it's kind of ingrained in our brains already that we need to make doorways and accessible passageways, stairs, clearances, a certain width anyway. Well, I'm going to tell you 9 practices that might actually help improve the livability and accessibility of your own home and make it a little bit better to live in after all. So let's jump right in, but don't forget to subscribe and give this video a like. Here we go. So tip number 1 is doorway width. Ever had to take apart a piece of furniture like a desk or some kind of appliance in order just to get it through your home? A lot of homes are built with only 1 or 2 doors at a 3-foot wide minimum. That's usually the entry door, sometimes the garage door, sometimes even the master bedroom door. However, by increasing most of the doors in your house to 3 feet wide, you'll have a lot better accessibility for moving in large pieces of furniture, kitchen appliances, that giant piano of grandma's. Maybe your new treadmill needs to come through the door. Having a 3-foot wide door, or even a little bit wider at your entry door, will make moving in and out significantly easier. The ADA also dictates the amount of turning space or maneuvering space in front of and behind a door. If you're able to follow these guidelines, it'll make it much easier if you ever break your ankle and are on crutches or are having a hard time moving around without one of those scooter things that you put your knee on when you hurt your ankle. I should know my wife actually had one of those a few years ago and couldn't get through some doors because they were just too narrow. Number 2, let's put everything on one floor. That's tricky sometimes. Sometimes you're in sites or acreages or properties that are pretty restrictive for the size of house that you want to build. But if at all possible, consider putting your entire program on one floor. That way maneuvering steps won't be too difficult if you have someone that's elderly or needs a little bit of extra assistance getting up steps, or maybe again, if you hurt yourself and are in some kind of crutches or mobility device to get through these spaces. It's just a lot better if you're able to have everything on one floor. Now, don't get me wrong, going upstairs is a great quad workout and you can get your steps in that way. However, it's usually a little bit easier to get around if you're in a space that doesn't have stairs on it or handrails. If you have the acreage or the property site, I would recommend you build your house all on one floor to avoid the potential of someday having a difficulty getting up a set of steps. Tip number 3, the garage. Most garages are sunk down from the main floor 6 inches to a foot or 2. That usually is for drainage or sloping of the garage or allowing for a lower elevation so the main house doesn't flood if the garage ever floods. However, you'll usually see a set of steps going from the garage up to the house. If at all possible, consider turning that into a ramp. Ramps will allow you to not only maneuver easier in and out of your house, especially if the elevation difference is only a foot or 2, but it'll also allow you to bring in larger pieces of equipment from the garage and vice versa, even in the dark, without having to worry about tripping or going up a set of steps. So if you have the space in your garage and your elevation difference is only a foot or so, consider putting in a ramp instead of stairs. Tip number 4, bathrooms are the unsung heroes of accessibility. Ever had to go to the bathroom while you're in the store, especially a longer trip to the bathroom? Which stall do you usually head for if it's open? most of us would probably head for the accessible stall. Why? It's wider, it has a lot more room. It has things like grab bars and extra width for you to have your quality time. Well, consider doing this in your own home. Maybe you don't have room for a 4-foot by 5-foot stall around your toilet, but the ADA requires for commercial bathrooms 18 inches on either side of the toilet for accessibility and use, even in a standard stall. 18 inches gives you plenty of room to relax and enjoy your time in the bathroom. If you're a big person, or maybe just need a little bit of extra room while you're on the john, you'll appreciate implementing these wider standard guidelines around your toilets. Tip number 5, let's talk about railings. Now, railings are regulated heavily by the International Residential Code, and most jurisdictions will follow the IRC in designing railings as far as their height, their lateral force, and the spacing between railing elements to keep people safe, especially on elevated patios or balconies or areas. The International Residential Code requires guardrails at a patio or an outdoor deck or at a stairwell to be 3 feet or 36 inches high. If you have someone with a little bit more mobility issues or need a little bit of extra protection, consider raising those railings up to 42 inches or 3'6". Besides, 3'6" is also the optimal height for a bar top. So if you've got that outdoor patio area, it would be great to put a drink rail at the top of that railing and allow your guests to have a little bit of extra space to stand and enjoy the view. Let's just make sure not to drop those beer glasses on anyone below. Tip number 6, shower curbs. I've seen a lot of homes in the past that have had a 4-inch or 6-inch curb at the bottom of the shower. This allows water to be diverted back down into the shower that splashes on the shower door or onto the curtain. If at all possible, consider reducing or eliminating that shower curb down from 4 inches to 1.5 or 2 inches, or even getting rid of it completely. Not having a shower curb is a big impact on accessibility and aesthetics. Just make sure you design your shower pan with the proper slope so you can get the water away from your shower door or your shower curtain and into the shower drain where it belongs. Tip number 7, doorknobs. We don't need them anymore. Don't put them in your house. A doorknob is a traditional way of opening a door that requires grip to grasp as well as to turn. There may be people with gripping or mobility issues that aren't able to turn with a solid grip a doorknob to open a door. So what you'll probably want to implement is door levers. A door lever is an opening device that allows you to open a door by only applying downward lateral pressure. I recently was out for a jog and took a fall while I was running, but when I hit the ground, I actually injured the flexor muscle of my thumb, which made it incredibly difficult to actually grip. Even doing that right now is still painful. I had to open doors with my other hand. A lever door handle will allow you to open a door with any downward pressure from any part of your body, your hand, your arm, even your head, if you need to. Tip number 8, smart home technology. This is more than just a fun gadget that we get to play with. How many times have you opened or closed or locked your doors or turned on your lights with Alexa or Google or your Apple Home? Voice-activated systems, automated lighting, integrated security. This is all easier for someone with a disability or mobility issues to use. Not only are these systems convenient, they're great for people that need a little bit of extra help in getting around the house. Finally, tip number 9. Let's talk about non-slip flooring. You ever seen Tom Cruise in Risky Business? How he does that slide across the floor in his socks? Let's not aim for that in our new build design. Non-slip flooring in high traffic areas is very practical and incredibly safe. If you're going to use vinyl, engineered wood, or tile, make sure you're specifying floor tile or a floor system that actually has this abrasive technology. Now, we're not talking about sandpaper here, but a lot of floor tiles actually have a better coefficient of friction that prevents sliding around. Think about being in a slick bathtub or shower where the floor of the shower is so slippery you're afraid you're gonna fall. Make sure your floor tile in your shower is floor-rated shower tile, not wall tile. Wall tile is inherently smoother and has less coefficient of friction than floor tile. One final note on floor surfaces: As a rule of thumb, try to avoid carpet on stairs. Carpet over the nosing of a stair can actually cause a slip point, making the ball of your foot roll off of it and slide. How do I know this? It happened to me in a house that we lived in where I slipped down a set of carpeted spiral stairs in the middle of the night and cut a big chunk out of my knee. Always opt for vinyl or tile stair coverings if possible, or natural wood if you're using an architectural suspended wood stair or something with an integrated design. And there you have it, 9 ways that you can improve the usability and comfort of your own home by implementing standards that are in the Americans with Disabilities Act. Again, we're not shooting for an environment that's intended for public use. We're shooting for an environment that is more comfortable, and it applies a lot of these practices that you see in commercial and public spaces. Whether you're building a new home or possibly an addition or a renovation, these tips and guidelines can help make your home a bit more comfortable and a bit more accessible. One final disclaimer to this video: always check with the authority having jurisdiction in your area. You may be required to follow an updated or amended set of building codes that change or alter any or all of these rules. Always follow the International Residential Code, as well as any updated or amended codes for your jurisdiction. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give it a like. And stay tuned for more exciting content and our next adventure on Double Deedle Design. Thanks.